another Static Legacy video day. I'll show you guys what we got. We're fixing the toe today. So this is what we picked up. Oh, it's in here. We've got these. These are the same size and thread pitch as my tie rods, and it's just gonna add that much more length to the tie rods, fixing the toe in. Looking at these, I'm honestly not too sure if it's gonna be enough, but it's time to find out. We're gonna go over there and throw it on, and hopefully it is enough, but I don't know. If any of you guys ever watched the tuning videos on this car when we were getting it tuned, the car was supposed to make over 20 PSI, and it never did. It only made 17 PSI. Well, I finally figured out the freaking issue. I did one last Hail Mary. I had all of the wastegate lines off of the wastegate so that way the car would make whatever wastegate spring it was on. And it didn't make more than 17 PSI still. So when I was getting back in the car the other day, I was like, I'm just gonna throw the lines back on just to be safe, call it good. Now the car makes a lot of boost. Look, I'll get you a clip. Watch the boost gauge. Told you, she fixed. And this car was tuned to make that much boost, so I've obviously watched my AFRs and everything to make sure it's okay to be making that much boost. The AFRs are still rich. It was very, very, very rich on 17 PSI because when he sent me the tune, thinking it was going to make over 20 PSI like it should have been, and it only made 17, so it was running really rich on 17. So now the AFRs are evening out perfectly with the 22 PSI that it's now making under boost, and it tapers down to like 18 towards red line. But we got the 20 plus PSI boost finally, and this thing freaking rips. I am so stoked. I'm gonna put a clip in right here. This was somewhere in Mexico on a close course, I promise. This is me against a 400 wheel horsepower STI from behind. You'll see what happens. Apparently this thing is really fast. We are back to the Static Legacy with the parts that should fix it. I hope. Let's throw this on, shut the garage because it's cold. I hate Utah winters. Throw this stuff right here. Turn on the heater. Let's get to work. So what we have going on is these are extended out as pretty much as far as they can go, and we still have toe in, and that's way more than it actually is because this wheel is straight. So these will just twist on to the end of the tie rod, extending it that much, and hopefully get rid of all that toe in. Instead of throwing you guys on a time lapse, I'm gonna show you how easy this is. Just wanna loosen these all the way out. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so loosen them the correct way, which is this way, and it's gonna come off of the outer tie rod like so, and then you take this thing and it's gonna spin onto here like so, and then you spin this onto the outer tie rod and you're done. Now obviously you have this locking nut on the back side that'll lock this in place, but you don't have a locking nut on the front. I don't have enough threads to throw a locking nut on there. I did get locking nuts, but this is enough threads for me to feel comfortable throwing a locking nut on there. So what we're gonna do is spin this all the way onto the tie rod as far as it'll go, so this itself will act like as the locking nut for the tie rod. We have it butted down to there. It's a 22 millimeter, so we'll grab a 22 millimeter and just make sure it's nice and tight on that tie rod end. Then you can grab your 13 and now adjust your toe with an extra spacer. This side is towing out. Let's go to this side and see what's happening here. This side is towing in just a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna straighten out one of the wheels and see what it looks like. All right, that is pretty straight. Come over here. And that has a little bit of toe out, which means we have fixed it, because we can adjust for toe in, but we can't adjust for any more toe out. So that means we have fixed the Legacy. Awesome. That means we can drive it today. Also remember, we lowered the front end another ½ inch, so this thing's gonna be absolutely slammed. We don't have the 326 springs in the rear yet, but once we do, we can lower the rear another ½ inch as well. But now we can go lower in the front. Hopefully the axle bind will be totally gone and this thing will be money. I just went ahead and zip tied everything up as high as I possibly could on both sides. And now I guess it's time to just trim these obviously and throw a wheel on and put it on the ground and check the alignment. So the car is really low with a lot of camber. Now I'm hitting my fender and a lot of things are happening. The LCA's pulled the wheel out a lot more than I thought it would. So now we're gonna have to roll and pull the absolute crap out of these. Look at this side. This side I lowered both sides a ½ inch, but I just raised that side back up. That's where it was before. This is undrivable. So I just raised that side back up and it still looks like it's too low. So I'm not sure what to do from here, but we are going to figure it out. So this is where we got it to sit. We actually had to raise it a ½ inch up from where it was before we did all the lower control arm stuff. And then we had to crazy pull the fenders to get them to clear enough to turn the wheels. We're gonna go try and do a quick test drive around the block and see if this even works. No more axle bind and no rubbing. Would you look at that? That is negative 12 or 13 according to my phone. But it kind of looks a little dorky because the front's all tilty boy and the rear now looks like it has nothing, which the rear's at -8. So no idea. It just looks kind of dumb because the fronts stick out so far and the rears don't. Also ignore my exhaust shield rattling. I need to fix that. But yeah, that's tilty boy. That's very much so tilty boy. All right, so this is where we left off with the Legacy. We got it home the other night. It was raining when we got it home. It's still got an eyeballed alignment, so it's still pretty sketchy to drive. I'm gonna get the alignment, I'll figure it out, so the car won't be sketchy to drive. But here's where we have it sitting out. The lower control arms pushed the front wheels out super far and gave us a lot of camber, where the rear kind of looks weird now because the front's got so much camber and the rear's all sunken and doesn't have as much camber. So I'm thinking we maybe cut and weld and custom make the rear camber arms to get more camber and throw a spacer on the rear to get it to maybe somehow match. But the car did drive like this without rubbing, scraping, no axle bind, no nothing. The car drives like this perfectly. It just needs the alignment done so it's not all over the place like it has been. Or my other thought was, because of how weird I think the front end looks now and how the car is still not as low as I want to be, and I can't go any lower than that at all, and maybe we throw the stock Legacy wheels back on. Because these are, let me see, these are 16s. They do need new tires. One of them's corded, so I need new tires. We could do a new tire, because this is a 205/55. We could do like a 205/45. Put new tires on these, throw these on the car, throw spacers on these, pull some of the front of the camber out, and get the car even more slammed on these wheels than it is on the white wheels, even though I do think the white wheels look super good. We'll figure it out though. I got a few ideas to play with. Let me know what you think down in the comments. That's where we're in the video. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.